Welcome to the top of the morning show. It is your girl TT from the D. I want to thank you all for tapping in and tuning in this morning. If you tapped in last night was an amazing show. Excuse me. This morning, we're going to kind of tap in honor of October. I've been doing a lot of different things, but you guys know that October is Mental Health, Domestic Violence Awareness and Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. But there's so many things going on in the month of October as we are getting ready to go into the month of November, where there's a lot going on in November. It's always something going on. This morning, I'm going to spend a few minutes and I'm going to share with you recognizing domestic violence. I want you to know what it looks like so you can, whether it's happening to you or someone you love. Okay? And I want you to be mindful that it's not always a physical situation. It can be mental, emotional, spiritual. Okay? Now, recognizing domestic violence from an intimate partner or between two people who are in a relationship, like I said, can take on many different forms. It can be emotional, sexual, physical, right? Abuse by a partner can happen to anyone at any time. But domestic violence is awfully directed towards women. Now, there are some cases and statistics, proven data out there that there are men that also suffer at the hand of volatile women domestic violence, but those cases often go unreported. There are also domestic violence relationships between same sex. Often more the women that are in a relationship with another woman, they report it. Unfortunately, when a man is in a relationship with another man and it's domestic violence, physical, they don't report it. Okay? And it's sad, but it's true. Abusive relationships always involve an imbalance of power and control. Some people might say, well, this person is in charge. They wear the pants in a relationship. You could have a leader in a relationship. They don't have to be abusive, though. They don't have to belittle you to me, and they don't have to control you because you are not a piece of project. You're not a project or a piece of meat, or you're not a puppy. You're not a child. You're clearly an adult. Okay? And you might say, well, it might not be so easy to identify domestic violence at first. While some, you clearly can see it. The black eyes, the bruises, unexplained bruises, list goes on. And they seem to get worse and worse over time. Now, you may be experiencing domestic violence if you are in a relationship with someone who, now listen to these key bullets, somebody who blames you for her or his violent behavior, or tells you that you deserved it, or you made them do it, or look what you made me do. If they forced you to have sex or engage in sexual acts against your will, I don't care if you're married. If you say no, no is no. And no one has the right to force you to do anything you don't want to do, married or not. Okay? If they hit, kick, slap, punch, shove, choke, anything that hurts you, privately or in front of people, friends, family, your pet, a child, children, strangers, doesn't matter. If they threaten you with violence or a weapon, if they get angry when drinking or alcohol is used while they're doing drugs, right? If they act jealous or possessive or constantly accuse you of being unfaithful, that is one of the biggest ones. If they try to control how you spend money, where you go, who you with, what medicine you take, what you wear, what you eat, what you drive, where you work, yeah. If they prevent you or discourage you from going to work or school or being with family or friends. Now, if you are in a same-sex relationship, or if you're bisexual or transgender, you might also be experiencing abuse. If you're in a relationship with somebody who threatens to tell your friends, your family, your coworkers, your classmates, or people in your community about your sexual orientation or gender identity. If they tell you that authorities won't help you because of your sexuality or gender identification, or if they justify abuse by questioning your sexuality or gender identity. All right? Here's something else. Whew, this is hot. Coming in hot with this one. Pregnancy, children, family members, and domestic violence. Sometimes domestic violence begins or increases during pregnancy, believe it or not. My mother had to be 7 months pregnant with one of my siblings. And I remember watching her get picked up like a WWF wrestler would pick up another WWF wrestler. And he body slammed her on her back with her big old belly. That definitely put her and my sibling at risk. But thank God nothing happened to that baby, my sibling. But even if your child isn't abused, simply witnessing domestic violence can be harmful. I am what they call a domestic violence child survivor because I am what they call a child who grew up in an abusive home. And they thought that I probably would have behavior problems, right? With other kids or things of that nature. And tend to, in most cases, some do, I guess. I'm not sure. That wasn't my case, thank God. But as adults, we are prone to become abusers or think abuse is a normal part of a relationship. And I thank God that my mind was wired differently. I absolutely knew it was not normal for a man to want to hit and beat on a woman. I absolutely knew it was not right. Right? Now, you might worry that telling the truth will further endanger your loved one or yourself. And that might make it a little bit harder. You might feel like this will break up your family. And so that goes on and on. Now, breaking the cycle. If you're in an abusive situation, you might recognize this. Your abuser threatens violence. Your abuse strikes to hit you. Your abuser apologizes, promises to change, won't do it again. And y'all remember that Tyler Perry movie, Buy You Gifts and stuff? Come on. But then they keep doing it until they end up like the burning bed. And then that's why you have so many women in prison for murder. They get these little restraining orders, so ain't nothing but a piece of paper to an abuser. The longer people stay in abusive relationships, the greater their physical and emotional toll will be on them. And those that have a child or children. They might become depressed or anxious, and they may not even believe that they can even survive without that person. But I will say this. Don't take the blame for that. You might not be ready to seek the help or escape that relationship if you are in it. But believe me, you are at least responsible for your own peace. You are. Now, I will say this. If you're an older woman, you might face some challenges due to your age and length of your relationship. You probably be like, oh, been with my husband for this long. We have this and we go through that. And yeah, you just kind of gave him an excuse on why he can be an asshole. Okay? if you are thinking about and you know it's over time to leave, you got to create you a safety plan because some of these maniacs can turn dangerous. Okay? There are domestic violence shelters out there. There are safe havens out there. I would not recommend going to a friend house or a family member house because that just brings more drama. And I recommend that you do not tell your family and friends initially. Because that's going to be the first place they go when your abuser knows the person or people you trust and love and who would probably protect you. Okay? When you're using your cell phones, use it cautiously because your abuser might intercept your calls and also listen to your calls. Okay? And they can do it, especially if they're tech savvy. Your abusive partner might use caller IDs, check your cell phone, search your phone, just too much, doing way too much. If you're using your home computer, they might go on the search engine, see what sites you've been in. So if you can't go to the library, FedEx, Kinko's, your school, if you're in school, if you're in college, work, a friend house, right? A neighbor. If you got GPSs on your system, I would say turn them off. But if your spouse like, yo, you turned off your tracker, why'd you do that? That's going to cause another problem. So I wouldn't advise that. But if they don't monitor that, I would turn off all my GPS systems that tells my location. Right? And I want to give you the National Domestic Violence Hotline number. That is 1-800-799-SAFE. It's toll free. 1-800-799-7233. If you don't have a phone that has the alphabets on it, right? You could always tell your healthcare provider, and they will typically refer you to a safe house through local resources. There are tons of shelter and crisis centers that provide 24-hour emergency shelter for women, right? This is not a game, ladies and gentlemen, because there are some men that are abused. It's not a game. And we are not here to play any games. We are here to be loved, love on people, live life and enjoy it. Not run from another human being who thinks that they created you or have control of you, because they do not. Okay? I'll leave you with this scripture. Genesis 1:27-28. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the heavens and over every living thing that moves on the earth. In honor of life, do a self-check every day and remind yourself that you love yourself, that you are worth everything you know you're worth. Believe in who you see in that mirror, not who you've been told. If you are going through domestic violence, I would pray that you are released from that stronghold and you find a safe way out. If you know someone who's going through, if anything I said to you this morning can be beneficial to them, share it with them. Pray for them. They have to want to leave more than you want them to leave, or they'll never stay gone. Until the next time we leave footprints across the sun, it is your girl TT from the D, and I'll see you soon.